They built a movement on exposing the elite. Now that movement is eating itself alive. What started as simple demands for transparency has detonated into something nobody saw coming. The man they crowned as their champion just turned his fire on his own soldiers. Words were said that can't be taken back, but maybe they have been. Maybe Donald Trump has just resolved this entire Epstein affair. You know, the lines were crossed, but can they really be uncrossed? And the files everyone wants open? Well, they're becoming the wedge that splits MAGA right down the middle. It's not just political drama. This is a reckoning years in the making. The establishment's watching, and they're also laughing as the populist uprising turns its weapons inward. Don't look away, because I think we may have finally found grace. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control of real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and it's smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. That's nextnewsgold.com. They are your exit from the danger zone, or you can call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when you call, talk to Colin, tell him that Gary Franchi sent you. Now, this is the Truth Social post that everyone is talking about today. You really just can't look away from it, because this is the line here. Their new scam, referring to the Epstein files. This is Donald Trump's post, Truth Social. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have brought into this BS, have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. Now, that's what President Trump had to say. He said the radical left Democrats have hit dirt again, just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents laptop from hell, which them swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom, and even Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made-up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. Scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They're no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will. Even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years, I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking about our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Yeah, that's pretty strong words right there from the president. Now, here is what President Trump said just a few hours ago in the Oval Office, and it's related to his Truth Social post. I'm setting this up because what just happened, I think, changes everything here with respect to that Truth Social post. So watch.
Christopher.
Yeah. Mr. President, I know you want to past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that?
No, it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements we've had, A great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's get something very clear here. Yes, we want transparency. Yes, we want answers from those. But we still have to rally around President Trump. We cannot let this divide us and get us fighting each other. Okay, we can't turn our guns on each other and destroy this movement that we've worked so hard to get President Trump into the White House. Alex Jones had an interesting take that I want to bring to your attention here. He brought it up today in reaction to the Truth Social post. I think we have it here. Where is it? Pardon me. I've got a lot of stuff bookmarked for you here. Let's see.
Your church. You know what, Trump? I'm glad the Democrats aren't in, and I like a lot of the success you're having, and we're all having together. And your statements about, you people bring this up, don't even deserve to be involved in this movement. You are excommunicata. You are henceforth ex cathedra from the mouth of the God King. You are expelled from the church of the Holy Golden Toad, Donald John Trump. Well, I was never in the church of the Holy Golden Toad. I do like you being a maverick, standing up for the country. We have the same enemies. I respect your stamina and courage. Been a big cheerleader when I agree with what you're doing. But if I'm being excommunicated, let me be clear, I was never in your church to be excommunicated. So you can't excommunicate me because I was never in your church. I was never in a cult. And I never said MAGA was a cult. I said a lot of people want it to be a cult. There are Dallas Cowboy fans that are a cult and literally commit suicide if they lose, the playoffs.
Okay, so we've got that from Alex, right? Also, we're finding out this just in. Pam Bondi has fired Maureen Comey, daughter of James Comey, from her job as prosecutor in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, per Politico. She worked on the prosecutions of Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and Sean Diddy Combs. So she is out of a job. But I think we have something here that is very important to present to you. President Trump's move. This is John Solomon just a couple hours ago. President Trump's move, what move, is an important first step. AG Bondi now should name prosecutor, release an index of all docs collected, identify what is being withheld and why, and then ask the SDNY judge to unseal the 2019 grand jury materials. So here is John Solomon. He interviewed President Trump about the Epstein files. Here he is talking with Steve Bannon, giving a preview, and then we also have President Trump himself reacting. Listen.
Focus on the things that matter.
You did inform him that they're thinking about appointing a special counsel on this to take over this entire investigation.
Yeah, and he said, I think it's a good approach. Let's just do it. Let's get the trust of the American people. Let's get accountability, and then let's focus on the things that matter.
So he's on board with the situation of getting a special prosecutor and having the Epstein situation put into that, so that can be formally looked
Anything
at.
Legitimate that should be looked at.
And really in a criminal context.
He volunteered it, by the way, Steve. I ask about the special, he immediately volunteers, and then I follow up on it. But he immediately brings up Epstein. Like, just throw that in. Let's get it all in. I got nothing to hide. I want truth, and I want prosecutions, and I just want the justice system to take care of what needs to be taken care of. It was really a remarkable moment.
You did
a remarkable moment, and we have that moment now. And I think this is going to put a lot of people at ease. We have been covering the division. We've been covering everyone's anger because we were told one thing and then we got nothing. Okay? And of course, we demand transparency. We want justice for those victims, and of course, we want accountability for the people who perpetrated those crimes against those kids, no matter who they are. Now, listen closely. President Trump.
On 3 different.
What do you think? What are the things that are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the sustainability. They don't have the something. They don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, they have bad policy. They have bad candidates. They have bad everything. But they stick together. The Republicans don't do that. But they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats.
No, they definitely set the Republicans up. One big prosecutor look at it all. Would that make you feel good, do you think?
Well, I think it's in the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it, and they are looking at it, and I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake.
Right.
They took 2 years to figure that out for the people. And all of the things that you mentioned were fake. Yeah. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration, they'd been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me, but especially you look at that Steele dossier where they paid like 14 or 16 million. That's more than James Patterson gets paid to do a #1 bestseller.
Isn't that crazy?
And the thing turned out to be a total scam. So frankly, I think I love that they're looking at all this stuff. If they are, I hope they are.
Yeah, we've definitely confirmed it. They definitely are.
Mr. President, this is something that could give the American people answers on 3 different elections, 2016, 2020, and 2024. But to get that rolling, there are 2 sets of documents that are key to identify.
Okay, so what you just heard him say, special prosecutor being appointed to look into the Epstein files. And if you recall, last week, we found out that Matt Gaetz was called up to go to Washington, D.C. Now, we also know there's a grand conspiracy investigation that's also going on, which Matt Gaetz could be appointed to as well. Now, he denied that he was called up by Donald Trump for this reason. But of course, that's classic misdirection. Like, you don't just show all your cards and declare it. So my gut tells me that Matt Gaetz is going to play a deeper role in this. Whether it's Epstein, whether it's the grand conspiracy, that remains to be seen. So I think this is going to bring the MAGA movement back together. I think as we watch the cards fall and we can pick up the pieces and we can track the special prosecutor's investigation. See, President Trump's calling the whole thing a hoax, which I think is, with all due respect, Mr. President, I don't think it's a hoax. Tying it all together with Russiagate and all these things, I think you're putting it in a big bucket, which I don't think it belongs there. But you're saying there's fake things in there, which certainly could be. There could be a lot of planted evidence. We don't know. But that's why we need the special counsel to move forward and blow this whole thing wide open. Pam Bondi, she really screwed up in the rollout with everything she was saying. I have it on my desk. I don't have it on my desk. And then, there is no list, whatever. So continuing here, this is what Steve Bannon had to say about Epstein.
We get 10 Epstein is a key that picks the lock on so many things, not just individuals, but also institutions, intelligence institutions, foreign governments, and who was working with him on our intelligence apparatus and in our government. This is why it's a time for choosing now. We have to decide right now and back the president and say, hey, look, all of your great work, you just heard Tom Homan, you're about to hear Chris Nome, of closing the border. How did we get 10 or 11 or 12 or 20 million on Biden's watch? That was a plan they had. That wasn't random. That has to be investigated and people held accountable like all these other things. This is why the Justice Department is clearly overwhelmed with what they're working on. The FBI is overwhelmed. We only have 2 guys at the FBI. We have a handful of people at the Justice Department. The special counsel or special prosecutor can take on many projects and add people to it. You have to get to the bottom of how the invasion took place, why we're now have to put up $170 billion in the latest bill to do this. We have to have a time for choosing. Here's my recommendation we do. I call them the Tampa Resolves. And it's very simple. Coming out of Tampa, it's like the revolution. They had the Virginia Resolves, and they would make these commitments to themselves before the Declaration of Independence. Number one, it's very simple. The deep state must be destroyed to free the American people. Is there any question about that? Is there any question about that? We have to destroy the deep state, and this is elements of the Pentagon, the Justice Department, the FBI, the CIA, certain elements that work under DNI, those 17 intelligence agencies, also parts of the State Department, the USAIDs of the world. That inner apparatus controls the government, and when President Trump tries to do something, they're always trying to thwart his actions, right? You see the leaks when Homan sent in brave men and women into Los Angeles to do these raids, like the raid about the children trafficked to the marijuana farm to work. They're lying in wait for him. They're lying in wait for the agents. They got weapons to shoot. How does the protesters? Because somebody inside leaked it to them. Somebody inside.
So all the noise today was kicked up by President Trump's post. And you saw Alex Jones like, hey, I'm not part of your church of MAGA. I'm going to continue to ask the questions, and we should always continue to ask the questions. And if the special prosecutor does, in fact, get instated, which we just heard is confirmed, then the questions will be asked. Now, here we have, this is 24 hours ago. Pam Bondi has lost all credibility due to her handling of the Epstein files. Her F-ups will now taint everything that the Trump DOJ does, including the grand conspiracy case Kash Patel initiated against Comey and Brennan and getting the truth of J6 in 2020. Well, what President Trump just said with John Solomon could save Pam Bondi's ass, too.
Same people are telling. I move the committee make an order amendment number 50 to H.R. 3633 offered by Representative Khanna, which would require the Attorney General to preserve and release any records related to Jeffrey Epstein. Madam Chair, on February 21st, 2025, President Trump's own Attorney General, Pam Bondi, said on Fox News, the Epstein client list was sitting on her desk, quote, right now to review, end quote. Kash Patel, Trump's FBI director, said during his confirmation hearing that he would do everything, if confirmed, to make sure the American people knew, quote, the full weight of what happened, end quote. Patel, who now leads the FBI, said on the Benny Johnson show that the FBI was hiding the Epstein client list. Donald Trump Jr., the president's own son, tweeted out, and I quote, show us all the Epstein client list right now. Why would anyone protect those scumbags? Ask yourselves this question, and then the answer becomes very apparent, end quote. And now, forgive me, but suddenly these same people are telling us there's nothing to see here. Trump is posting that we should all just move on. Well, I want to know what the hell is in these files. And I think we all want to know why Trump is suddenly changing his tune and is so desperate to sweep this under the rug. But you know what? This also gets at his credibility. This is about trust. Republicans said, trust us, vote for us, and we will release these files. Here we are. They are backtracking.
Okay. Now, of course, this was all recorded in this committee hearing meeting prior to Trump's revelation today. So you can see there's been so much noise and so much damage. I want to make something else very clear. That the Epstein files could completely destroy the Trump administration in how they handle it. And you could lose the midterms. I think you could lose the midterms over this whole case. And I think because there is so much on the line right now, the credibility of Pam Bondi, the credibility of promises that Donald Trump made on the campaign trail, I mean, the credibility of the whole administration and the rollout of these files. It all can destroy the entire potential for winning the midterms. I think they've finally seen the writing on the wall. You know, yesterday we played a clip of Charlie Kirk saying, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Dinesh D'Souza, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Donald Trump saying, don't talk about it anymore. Right? You saw the cabinet meeting where he's like, why are we still talking about Epstein? And the amount of blowback that has occurred has been heard. Your voice has been heard. I mean, when Donald Trump gets ratioed on his own social media platform, that means something. Okay? He's paying attention. And now we have confirmation that President Trump, as you see right here, he did with John Solomon, Just the News, he would support Pam Bondi appointing a special prosecutor to investigate the deep state, which would include the Jeffrey Epstein case. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. This is what we wanted. This is all we wanted. So, what will the outcome be of this investigation? That remains to be seen. Will they release the outcome? We have to continue to track this. But I wanted to say this is very, very good news that has just come out. So you're hearing it right here on the Next News Network, and it's not going away. But but we do have this. Maureen Comey is going away. Yeah, she's not going to have her hands on anything in the Southern District of New York. Goodbye. But her dad, he's sweating bullets right now. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So why does all this matter? Because movements die from betrayal, not from enemies. When Donald Trump dismisses his own base as stupid Republicans falling for Democrat hoaxes, he's not just insulting voters, he's torching the very trust that put him in power. However, we are now getting solutions. We are moving forward, despite the fact that they told us to look the other way, nothing to see here. The appointment of a special prosecutor to look into the Epstein files, it's not some fringe conspiracy theory. Okay? They represent the ultimate test of whether this administration serves truth or protects the powerful. When Pam Bondi botches the handling, when the FBI releases doctored tapes, when Trump attacks those demanding answers, we are watching the populist revolution devour itself. But like I said, they are listening. They're listening to your voice. And they have answered it. So every parent who fears for their children, every citizen who demands accountability, every patriot who believed in draining the swamp that it meant something, we're all asking the same question. Whose side are you really on? And now I think we finally have an answer. But not all of them. So here's my very simple question for you. Should Donald Trump release all the Epstein files immediately? Simply yes or no. I want to take the temperature of our viewers here at the Next News Network. So drop your answer below. And while you're fired up, go ahead and check out our merch shop where real patriots gear up for battle. President Otto Penn, help us expose that. Support Alligator Alcatraz and pick your favorite member of the administration in our American Badass series and trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. You'll find it linked down below.